Let's do a 3, 2, 1 clap.
All right.
3, 2, 1. I almost clapped my nose.
Well, safety first, maybe we need to do an incident report.
You're listening to The Great and Secret Knowledge. I'm Jeff, and with me once again, Jessie.
Hello.
Welcome back.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks again for having me on.
Oh, I mean, if this keeps up, you'll be like a regular. That'd be fun.
That would be great fun. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if it was Doctor Who, you'd definitely be a companion after the second episode, right? Because we're on, unless you don't count the first one because you haven't traveled in the TARDIS, but you've already been in the TARDIS thricely now. So
I think it definitely counts. It definitely counts.
Yeah.
So this is number 4.
It's fun. The Great and Secret Knowledge was named after like supposed magic in Piranesi. So it's fun to think of it also as a TARDIS. It's like a magical TARDIS.
I like it. I mean, the TARDIS works in anything, right? Like I was auditioning for a job and I basically ripped off. They asked me to, because it was a job as a tour guide. They're like, tell us a story about a measuring tape. And you just had to make up a couple of minute story on the spot. And I came up with a story of a magical measuring tape because there was a little girl who was lonely and she used to play with her grandma's sewing kit. And then the magical measuring tape woke up and took her on all these adventures through space and time. And I just literally I started with something that was personal and autobiographical because my grandma was a dressmaker, and so I used to always play with her, like her button containers and measuring tapes and stuff. And then as I was just telling the bit that's autobiographical, I was like, oh, I can just make it magical. Yeah, and then I'll just make it Doctor Who, but with a measuring tape.
Yeah, that's great.
And they told me I should write a children's book. But
oh yeah, I hear it's hard work getting the word count down and on a kid's level for some reason.
Yeah, I can imagine it would, but
probably because they don't know as much, being as they are kids.
True, but I do think the ones that the best ones and the ones kids like, kids don't necessarily like being talked down to. I think give them some credit. Give them some credit, but then some of it depends on the content as well. My friend showed his 9-year-old Jurassic Park recently and got about halfway through and too scary, opted out.
Oh, too scary. It definitely is. Holy shit.
But I reckon I was that age when I saw it. I would have been about 9 when Jurassic Park came out, and I saw that in the cinemas for sure. But then I have the dinosaur autism, so.
1993.
Yep, I was 9.
I would have been a sophomore in high school. Interesting.
But I love Jurassic Park.
Well, speaking of scary horror movies, this one, Season 2, Episode 3, The Well, pretty spooky.
Extremely spooky. Extremely spooky. There's always a really like you've got to have a really good spooky horror episode, at least one a season. At least one a season. What are some of your favourites in the spooky Doctor Who field?
Well, 73 Yards is up there.
Oh yeah,
Blink, of course.
of course.
Midnight. There's one from the Tom Baker era, The Horror of Fang Rock. It's
Yeah,
pretty
good one.
damn scary.
The God Complex is one for me.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's an Amy and Rory one. That is spooktacular.
It's very, very good. And The Empty Child.
Yep, that'll fuck you up. Are you my mummy?
And I skip The Unquiet Dead on very frequently on my rewatches, mostly because I'm watching it before bed. It's not what you want to be watching right as you're going to sleep. That'll conjure some dreams. That woman, when she sits up. Oof.
It's Zombo City.
So it's an interesting one to. Silence in the Library would be the other one, but I've got no problem watching that one before bed.
Ooh, that one is pretty scary. Most of the scary things I think of are actually Star Trek episodes for some reason.
Oh, yeah?
There's the one where in Strange New Worlds they meet the Gorn for the first time, and those little shits, it's like Alien. Real scary. This has kind of an Alien moment where she's got her tricorder out and it's telling her there's a life sign.
Yes.
But Alice doesn't really go anywhere, so they didn't make much use of it.
Are we getting a heartbeat with when they're scanning for Alice? Well, when they're scanning for life signs, and yeah, It's a really spooky and good episode, though. As much as I'm not into horror, I think this one they've done pretty well with this one. Do we know who wrote it?
Oh, let's pull up the information. Doctor Who, The Well. Oh, it's up on IMDb. Let's see what we got here. Writer, Russell T. Davies and Sharma Angel Walfall.
Oh.
Let's see. She wrote for Dreamland, Poor Wee Me, and Coronation Street, one episode.
Has she done any other Doctor Who?
This is her first.
Excellent. Cool. Because there's some... I do like that even though Russell's obviously got his writing credits on everything, he is bringing in a lot of new and interesting people and bringing back writers and directors who are really good.
Yes. Yeah, this one made the most of its guest stars. It gave Belinda a chance to show her empathic nursing side. It gave the Doctor some real quiet moments, especially when that weird telepathy scene or whatever's going on there.
When he's
where it knew his name.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up. I saw him interacting with it. My first watch through, I completely missed whoever has the monster behind it could hear the monster talking. And it makes sense that, adds the layer. Because when I was sitting there going, there's something to do with voice, something to do with the fact that Alice is deaf. That's going to really influence the storyline. But it was a really subtle moment, I think, that kind of passed me by. But maybe I was just enamored by Shooty's face in that moment. Because, oh my God, that man can act. Oh, just the amount of emotion he can show with just a flinch or just a little sideways glance or does show not tell with his face.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't write that. Like, how do you
Ooh.
write? Doctor goes through some stuff. Same with Belinda in the suit room near the end, where she's like clearly discovering that she's got the thing.
Yeah,
I felt this one sort of missed me on my first watch, but on my third, like I was like almost going to be late, but thankfully you messaged me because I was just locked in that scene with Belinda. Like, I think I've been gotten.
Yeah, she was. Verada said to. She's just impresses me more and more and more every week. I love Belinda as a character. I've said this before, but I love her and the performances that her and Shooty really balance well off each other.
Oh, hell yes.
Like I feel like, they're acting at the same pace. Which doesn't always occur. But I do think Ruby was less. I didn't feel as much of a match, I guess, as I feel with Belinda.
Yeah, they feel hand in glove, just like, God, when was the last time we had something like that? I mean, Capaldi and Clara had their moments for sure. Bill and the Doctor were wildly different. Maybe Amy by herself with the Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the best example would be
Donna
Billy Piper. I was going to say Billy Piper and David Tennant. But yeah,
yes,
Donna
they were
and
definitely simpatico.
But it's interesting. But that's part of the show, right? We don't always want the same, just a regurgitation of the same companion and the same doctor companion dynamic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be boring after 62 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why they do episodes with like sometimes without the Doctor, sometimes without companions, highlight the guest stars, like they keep it from being the same dynamic every time.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also the incredibly grueling production schedule that they have with Doctor Who. So sometimes, like, to accommodate the filming schedule, they need to have they have to have a Dr. Light episode. Mm-hmm. So the example being Midnight versus Turn Left is, I think, the strongest. They were filmed almost simultaneously in different locations because they didn't really need the Doctor for Turn Left and they didn't really need Donna for Midnight, apart from her couple at the beginning and at the end. This one was really good though. It's kicked off right to start. Like, Linda's really on board. I think
scene.
It was a great. Yeah. She's like, "Do we get to change our clothes again?"
I think I'll do a soundbite from that where she goes, "Do we get to change our clothes? Girl, you are beginning to enjoy this at last."
Yes, it was awesome. What did you think of the use of Britney Spears' Toxic for a second time?
Oh, that was brilliant. I loved it. That moment when they go into the door, Toxic starts, they come out the door, or maybe right after they come out. But it gave me a thought that them coming out the top door fully clothed, I think we've seen this before, but this time made me think of it. I think time flows differently outside the control room. So you can spend more time fucking around in the hallways and then pop right back to deal with whatever emergency there is. Because they always seem to get back to the control room in time for whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I like that theory. That's some good headcanon.
Now, in this series, have we seen any of the rooms other than this control room? I don't think we have.
No. I think we see that less in New Who. Like, we going outside of the control room. Like, I know I can think of examples in Classic Who with whole scenes in other parts of the TARDIS.
It was a big deal in the Fifth Doctor's era.
Yes. So, yeah, but I can't think of really much of it occurring. Like, Matt Smith's TARDIS had the 2 levels, but that was still the control room.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we have.
Well, corridors feature a lot, like the one where Amy and Rory... Oh, I guess that's the Doctor's wife, where Amy and Rory are trapped and having nightmare experiences, and Rory is all bearded and it's writing things on the wall.
Ooh, that one.
Kill Amy, I think it was. Or Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, is that a thing?
Was that... I'm getting confused with the one with Clara where they
Clara.
Is it similar with the guy with the his brothers are telling him he's an android?
Yeah.
That's because they go deep into the like recesses of the TARDIS to try to recover something there as well.
Yeah, that's with Clara and the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith.
Yeah. Whereas that one with Amy and Rory, I think that's like Rory's 5th death. That was one of my fun games I always played. Deaths. Just start counting them. There's some great memes about that. You know, Buffy, I died twice. And then I think is it the supernatural guys that are the end were like laughable.
Okay, so he promises to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. He says, I will meet your mom and dad. That is a promise.
Something I forgot to mention last week is just a theory I came up with during Lux, but I think it applies here as well. Belinda's parents are constantly mentioned as being musical. Like, they've referenced that a couple of times. Like, mum plays the violin and her dad loves to sing. And we get another reference to, I'm going to sing with your father. I'll meet your parents one day. Some really heavy musical. So I do wonder if we're going to have Belinda singing at some point, because clearly music's in her blood. And is that going to maybe, if we might, where that flows in with Maestro, or is this just a hangover of when they were writing this for Ruby? Because Ruby plays the piano.
Because she was a musician, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's interesting because I paused it on a shot of the Doctor putting the Vindicator over his sash, and it totally looks like a Flying V guitar. It'd be awesome if during a musical scene he just whips out a fucking guitar and goes to town on it. That'd be great.
I have that in my notes too. The Vindicator looks like a guitar. At that exact same moment where he pulls it over his shoulder. I just think there's a few little, I mean, they could be red herrings, but I do think there are a few little hints that we might see some more musical referenced. I mean, the Doctor playing electric guitar has been done well and truly. Like, that's Peter Capaldi wandering around the TARDIS or riding in on a tank, shredding his axe.
Oh my God. I know it's impossible to do it, but it would be so great if we could have a Prince episode.
Oh, no way would they grant the rights for that, but also it would be amazing.
Oh, man. Someday, 100 years from now, maybe when Prince is in the public domain, we can have the Doctor meet Prince.
That would be reliant on Doctor Who continuing on. But I sent you that hopeful article during the week. I hope it just keeps going. I don't mind that it's not as popular as it was. It's not, yeah. Just need there to be Doctor Who. I lived through the wilderness years. It wasn't great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it will be in the public domain or parts of it anyway in 2063. So, theoretically it could be popular, for as long as human beings reach through the stars,
Well, then we can have it for the 100th anniversary.
Yeah. And Star Trek can then use it in Star Trek shows, right? Same with Star Wars.
True. There's a lot of stuff. Although with Disney involved, isn't that like one of the theories of why they keep releasing these terrible and unpopular live action remakes? Because it gives them
just to keep the license.
Yeah, well, that is the theory. So they can continue to make all the royalties and everything off all the songs, and that just could be. We can't bash Disney. They're giving us WhoDis.
That's right. We are forced to suckle at the teat of Disney for the foreseeable future.
Our kind and benevolent mousy overlords.
Yeah. So he tells her what we already know as Who fans, which is that human beings survive until nearly the end of the universe, essentially, human civilization. So it leads to these odd questions, like she's like, will they speak English? And I'm like, that would be the wildest thing in the universe if they still spoke English the way we do.
Yeah, I mean, possible. If anybody could colonize like that, it's probably the Brits. But it's
Yeah, when he said you go out there and own it, it felt oddly colonial, like.
True. True. I mean, but at this point, like, how much further along? I mean, it's only 500,000 years, so it's human beings should be still out there instead of being like a trampoline, a bleached trampoline.
Right. Post-human, yeah.
Incarnation, but it's very interesting. A lot of these like planet Earth, when they're at the very beginning while they're still in the TARDIS, they're trying to bounce back, and Belinda, they actually say, is planet Earth broken? And I mean, we know it is to a degree from the end of first episode, but then not all of the people they meet not knowing that what humans are, what English is. Still knew sign language, and they were using British Sign Language.
I just love how seamlessly they're weaving this Doctor Who lore into an otherwise well written episode. Because if it was clunkier, it would stand out so hard. Like,
Absolutely. Sometimes it does.
Because it's part of the whole. It helps that it's part of the entire season's like arc. Is the idea that humans don't exist at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see more of it. It's going to keep building up, snowballing. There'll be more hints. Absolutely.
So they dress up in spacesuits, and she's like, that looks good. Because he is looking quite good in his tight pants.
Oh, yeah. It's just.
They suddenly find themselves on a ship getting suited up with all these other space people. And it's like all of a sudden they find out they're skydiving. They just get pushed out.
with their rocket shoes, like the thrusters that are
Yeah.
bringing them down. I thought that was pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
Onto a mystery planet.
I guess I can skip the awesome title sequence. I was watching this earlier and I just realized I was smiling when I saw that painting, as he says, like, look, and opens up his arms all wide and the camera pans up. I was just like, it's so incredible. It's making me happy.
It does. We needed a quarry. I was complaining about the lack of quarry.
This is a good one. Hell yeah.
It's not Doctor Who without a quarry.
It reminded me a bit of the cyber asteroid in Power of the Doctor.
Oh, yeah. The Cyber Masters.
The Doctor gets hit by the
Oh,
tiddlywinks. What's that thing called? the wobbly laser shooty guy.
Yes. The Blinks? No, that's...
No. What is the... I'm typing in, what is the thing that kills the Doctor? The 13th Doctor.
Oh, is it the passenger? The passenger form?
No, it was this thing with a weird name. It was what they were transporting in the space train at the beginning.
Right.
It's like the Wierinks or something like that.
Oh, the Wierinks. The Wierinks.
Wierinks.
I have
that
to say
thing.
It in New York. Yeah, I have to hear it in a Yorkshire accent because I have to hear.
Yeah, the Wierinks.
The Wierinks. Yeah.
So anyway, this little scene reminded me of that, and then also of the part of Flux, the first episode, I think, where the Time Lord agents are checking out the imprisoned Vanquisher guy, the blue one,
Oh yeah,
not the
yeah.
blue one, the purple one. Swarm, I think is his name.
Yeah, Swarm is his name. Yeah. So for me, I got a lot of Satan Pit.
Oh yes.
That kind of energy. I mean, it is in that moment for me, in my first impression notes, I'm like, oh, we're getting our Base Under Siege episode.
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome.
What would Doctor Who be without that either? Like, the waters of Mars is the ultimate one. Satan Pit. There's quite a few.
Yeah, and mining is a issue that has gone back as far as Doctor Who goes, I think, to second or third Doctor.
Yeah,
definitely the third Doctor.
It's a constant reminder. Like, is it that is it maybe just because they're filming quarries so much they're reminded of mining?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go back to Fury from the Deep or the Macro Terror. In those cases, it's gas, but it's like it's dangerous work. It's ugly locations. It's like kind of the darker side of modern life is that we despoil the earth to run our cars or whatever. So it's rich for storytelling, but it also is cheap because it's a quarry.
True. And the mining thing, like I of course we're forgetting the Rebel Flesh.
Ooh, the Rebel Flesh.
When they're doing the mining in the acid.
Yeah. Talk about a spooky one.
That one is incredibly spooky. I would normally skip it, but it's such an important part of the overarching storyline of that season. You kind of have to watch it.
That's a Chibnall episode, I think.
No, Moffat. Oh, Chibnall. No, Chibnall wrote you're right. I think it's during the Moffat era. But right. I think you're right. Chibnall wrote it, I'm pretty sure.
He definitely wrote The Hungry Earth. The writer, Matthew Graham.
Oh, no.
I guess I was wrong on that.
No, me too.
He's known for Life on Mars, Ashes to Ashes, and Electric Dreams. But we're not talking about The Rebel Flesh. We're talking about...
I know. I've gone on a tangent already.
The Well. I mean, partly this episode is to blame because it's drawing from so many sources, you know, like I mentioned the tricorder thing with the life sign, like clearly from Alien. But yeah, it's kind of dipping its hand in all these different things.
Well, there's
including
also
Doctor Who episodes.
There's a really good
quiet again. Where were we? Oh, I really like the score in this scene. I'd love to be able to get my hands on the score without all the words and sounds. Oh, so I wanted to get this sound bite because of a funny thing Belinda does.
I am platoon leader Shia Castalian. I was not informed of your presence.
That's the point. Well, mystery shop is.
And then Belinda gets kind of chavvy for just the briefest second. It's very odd. She's I don't know, gets an attitude.
Well, she's being confronted, and I imagine as an ER nurse, she'd have to, back herself up in certain moments.
It reminded me, I know why I thought that. It reminded me of Mickey. She goes, we're like mystery shoppers. Or she kind of bows up her shoulders a little bit. It was just really cute.
Throw that one in there.
So yeah, she's like, you can send us back to the ship now. And she's like, well, it'll take it 5 hours to get here. Oof. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, when they first, came, they had all pulled their guns on the Doctor and Belinda. I had a full moment of wondering, of not being sure the psychic paper would work. And I'm a bit annoyed by that because it means that people have overpowered the psychic paper or have had special training to not be affected by the psychic paper too often. And I think they, to now have that doubt, because you need to have faith in the psychic paper. And you need, it can't be too often that, because you want it to be a shock when it doesn't work. If it doesn't work.
Yeah, you got to pull it out enough. It's kind of like committing to, gosh, do you know anything about American football?
Actually, I do. I do know
Grounded
a little
pound.
bit.
It's a little bit how you have to run the ball to open up the threat of the pass.
Yeah.
So even if you're a heavy passing team, you still have to push the rock a few times every drive to keep the threat, Because if they're always going back to cover the pass, it leaves them open to the run. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, it needs to be, if it's going to be an appropriate, tool, we need to have an expectation that it works.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just remember when it doesn't work more frequently than all the times where he just pulls it out and it go on straight through.
Yeah, I feel like somebody got unit training. I know Joe Grant was trained at some point, so even the master wasn't able to fully hypnotize her. But that's rare.
Well, that's come up when the Doctor's kind of infiltrated unit, or Torchwood, like the pre-Doomsday Torchwood, Torchwood 1, and I think they've had we've had training. That psychic paper. That paper is blank.
Yeah. Let's see. I noticed that Trooper 3 had this nice melodious voice. I think her name is Mo.
Yes, the first.
Platoon leader Chastalian said at one point, "Hope is irrelevant."
That comes up a lot.
That's a great line.
I noted that line as well. It's oh God, I didn't like him though.
Oh, that guy. That guy's
Because he says that.
Is
Cassio.
Cassio.
Yeah. He says hope is irrelevant as well.
Yeah.
That
dude worrying... is played by the gentleman who plays the hacker in Slow Horses on Apple TV.
Oh, I've had so many recommendations of Slow Horses.
It's a great show. Let's see. What's this guy's name? There he is. Christopher Chung.
Christopher Chung. I mean, he does play an asshole really well.
Very much so, yeah. He's got asshole written all over him.
I had no problem getting on board with not liking that guy.
Oof, man, he definitely had it coming.
He sure did. Yeah.
So the framing and composition in this episode is incredible. There's we see the troopers walking towards the building from above, through a gantry or something. It looks great. And then we see him walking up to the building with the stars and the clouds and crazy things in the background. Just really beautiful shots.
It really was. And the color tone, again, this episode had its own color tone, very navy, very black, very dark, whereas we had those lovely pastels last week. I'm really appreciating the you know which episode it is because you instantly it makes it a lot easier, especially for podcasting, to separate the episodes mentally because each has had such a different color palette. So
yeah, this is the dirty one, the grimy one,
which is kind of weirdly different because the Midnight was so bright and light and still covered with diamonds. It really balanced, everything was about it, being so light and the radiation being so strong. It makes it the galvanic radiation. While we're on the planet, can we talk about it? Can we talk about the reveal?
Oh, yeah, please, of course. Yeah, the Midnight planet.
I was so annoyed I got it so early.
You thought we were on that planet or that we were dealing with that creature?
That we were on that planet and that we were dealing with that creature. The moment for me was when you first saw the little flash the first time behind Alice.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, poor Alice.
There were other hints beforehand. There was a point where the doctor describes the planet as cold, lifeless, and dead. Which conjures, that was a bit, I think these are the kind of hints that sent me in that direction really quickly. And then as soon as there was the flash behind her, I was like, oh, this is Midnight. And I'm like, oh, it's great if it is, and I was really excited when they revealed it in the moment, but then afterwards I was just annoyed that I guessed it.
So I noticed there was this really nice stencil on the wall at one point. It says Gesteta. And so I Googled it immediately. I'm like, this must be something. Nope, turns out it's just the name of the mining company in this episode. It's not a reference to anything as far as I could tell. So I wouldn't mind getting a sweatshirt with that on it,
That would be cool. Up there with what's his face's unit sweatshirt from last week.
Yeah, Hassan, for sure.
Hassan, yeah. Did you notice the doctor putting the Vindicator? So when they were de-suiting.
Yeah, in the suit room, he put it on a shelf.
Yeah, and it was very Chekhov's gun, let's zoom in on this, and I don't remember it really coming back, so I wonder if that's just a wider reference. This Vindicator is going to come up, right? Like it's more than just a way to get them home. There's something there, and it'll potentially even be the thing that saves the day in the final episode, maybe.
He did take it with him at the end, right? Or did we not see them leave?
I didn't see it picked up again, like in such an obvious way. So I want, because it comes up at the end, right? That's the question Mrs. Flood asks. Does he have it with him?
Interesting. So maybe it gets left somewhere and picked up by her or her agents.
Well, I don't mind. This just doubles down further on my theory that she's not evil. She's not the big bad. I think she's monitoring the Doctor to make sure he gets to a certain place in a certain time to potentially save the Earth.
Interesting.
She didn't seem to want to be after him, and she seems to be speaking in facts in all her little appearances thus far. But in this one, she very much, her main focus was, does he have this device with him? Oh, good. That's what I wanted. So she hasn't clearly shown herself to be a baddie yet.
Yeah.
Could just be observing, and, especially with the Time Lords, historically they've always had, there's a variety of different ones, and how they're influencing, they do it according to their own moral standards that aren't necessarily in line with the moral standards of other Time Lords as well.
Yes, they range from dull to crafty to shady to outright evil. And sometimes they change back after the next regeneration. It's very odd.
Well, yeah, going from like John Sim Master to Missy to then Sacha Dhawan Master.
Sacha Dhawan, yeah.
Who is truly evil.
Yeah. So what do you think about the trope of coming to a place and finding out everybody went crazy and killed each other?
I like it. I'm a big fan of I like a found footage horror. So I think this lends itself to that kind of vibe. And it was a genuine mystery. Like, whether I hadn't quite clicked that it was midnight yet, but the fact that half of them were shot and half of them were maimed or bodily damaged through blunt force. I liked that mystery. That was a good mystery to have. Because there wasn't an obvious theory you could put to it and go, oh, well, all of these, because clearly some people are being killed in one way. My theory at the time was there was some kind of like giant big monster, and then and some really bad shots with the laser shooting. And what about the mirrors? Did you have what did you think when you saw?
So when that happened, it made me think of that awful pirate ship episode with Rory and Amy.
Yes.
And how they had to cover up all the reflective surfaces because she could move through mirrors.
Yes. The Curse of the Black Spot.
Yes. Gosh, that episode is subpar. Oh my God.
It's such a shame because it's got the wonderful Hugh Bonneville, who I love in Downton Abbey. But no, agreed that episode's pretty rubbish.
And I know there are other things. I think maybe a Doctor Who book I read has a mirror traveler. I think the Doctor traps one of the family of blood in mirrors.
He trapped her inside a mirror. Every mirror. If ever you look at your reflection and see something move behind you just for a second, that's her. That's always her.
Yes.
Which was fun.
The sister in every mirror behind you. That was spooky. That was a good spook. Just that little tidbit of when you think you see something behind you in the mirror, it's her.
Yeah. I recently read a short story where the Doctor goes back and has to put the family of blood somewhere else because one of them broke out. The one with the chains of whatever broke out.
The unbreakable chains and father of mine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such great.
That's a good one.
Episode.
So yeah, they find the bodies, they do a little detective work, and then they get up to the life sign. They're right outside a door, and I was going to soundbite this.
Could be surviving. Or could be the killer.
It could be both.
Which it turns out is the truth.
Absolutely. I do have to call out the doctor interacting with Cassio. It's not appropriate to call me babes. Okay, hun.
Yes. Give it to him, Doc.
It establishes him as we don't like him right from the start. They did really well with casting and showing that guy was going to be an asshole. But so then we're up to Alice, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, and the reason why the doctor wanted to take off his armor was to project himself as a peaceful guy to whoever they meet, I think. He said we come in peace.
That is a good point. Because I didn't quite get why they did that, why they disrobed, but that makes sense. We know the doctor doesn't like guns, and armor is just an extension of that. No, good call. Good call.
Well, it's why cops, I just yesterday filmed some cops talking to a witness, I think is what they were. Because they all had fucking flak jackets on, which just projects the image of people ready for shit to go down at any second. It's super intimidating. So I like that the doctor took off his armor.
And it comes up later, so it's I like that. That's a good that makes sense to me. That's in line with the character.
Yeah.
We need the doctor to be peace loving. I think there's been too much doctor being okay with guns already.
Mm-hmm. So we meet Alice Fenley. We see that she's killed a friend of hers. She is hearing impaired. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the shot of Sal dead, and there's this what looks like a data pad of some kind that I swear we've seen in another episode. It's a tiny thing that doesn't matter, but
I mean, they're potentially just reusing old props. Doctor Who's got a long and storied history of reusing old props for new situations, but now they have the Disney money.
So I'm really enjoying the disability piece of it's important to be able to communicate with a witness. They have these little devices that have text that come up. The doctor immediately is signing. Which
Shooty learned sign language for this and actually learned it properly. I saw an interview with the woman who plays Alice. And apparently in all his downtime and everything, Shooty was just teaching himself sign language or working to learn sign language so that he could do it, not just his lines, but actually communicate in sign, which was pretty cool. And I think says a lot about him as a human being, that he would use his time to do it.
That is beautiful. Wow. As a hearing impaired person, I think it hit me in the feels that the doctor would care enough, and that I guess the actor cares enough. That's really cool.
Everything I've ever heard about Shooty, and I've been watching some wonderful interviews with him lately, and it's been just seems like a good human, and I like that. That makes me enjoy the show more, knowing that he's a good person. Rose Ailing Ellis is the actress who plays to make sure I got her name. But I just love that. And while we're on the sign language, like a nurse who can't sign, that's against the law.
Oof. Yeah,
Should
she
be.
says it should be.
And it's just a nice little, I'm sure the anti-woke brigade will complain, but I thought it was a nice little, hey, maybe this is a good thing. Change perspectives on it. Same thing when the doctor says, maybe 500,000 years or whatever in the future, but people still are afraid of signing.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to be able to know what's being said around us. We don't like to, I've been at a dinner table with folks that were only speaking Vietnamese, and it was real isolating, alienating or whatever. Like, it wasn't their job to entertain me, but it was difficult. So, if I could learn quickly, like Shudi did, that would be great.
Well, you'd want to, when you're in that kind of environment, and I think it's, shown when people move into and live in a location that is not their native language, they pick up the other language really quickly. And if if they put the right effort, you'd have to almost be stubborn not to.
Yeah.
Human instinct. We want to be, we're sociable species. We want to feel included. We want to feel a part of everything, and you do what you need to do to get yourself over that line. Whether that's, learning how to mask as an autistic person or learning a language that's not your own if you've moved somewhere.
Oh, God.
Philosophical.
Well, you broke the seal. Autistic news here in the States. RFK Jr. is saying all kinds of fucked up, foul shit about us. And they ran a nice story in the local paper about a woman named Summer Knight, which is fun. She's a real estate lady in Seattle, and she was speaking out about autistic issues and how we're real people that don't need to be cured or legislated out of existence or put into camps or whatever. I don't know her exact words, but that was what I got from the first couple of paragraphs.
Yeah.
It's hard to read about this stuff because most people talking in society or whatever don't have the kind of care that this episode was written with, where everybody's trying to understand each other.
And it goes back to that, and people trying to understand each other, but how quickly that turns when they feel isolated from it or threatened is a theme that goes across both Midnight and this episode.
Yeah.
The intense fear and anger that people react with as soon as they feel like they don't understand what's going on, or they're feeling, the way they're all turn on each other, like the fact that the entire base is destroyed and this creature's been getting in the ear of all to the point where the creature had killed half of them, but the other half killed each other.
Yeah. So I like Belinda's empathetic nature as they talk to Alice. Shia says, we're going to go look at the control room. So the doctor goes and leaves Belinda in charge of Alice and goes and investigates that. And we find out that Shia's never heard of Earth. The doctor's like, but you're in an alliance with them. And she's like, Oh, and Cassio's like, that's a stupid name for a planet.
Yeah. I like that. Was amazing. Yeah, citizen of Lombardo, and the dog's like, oh, Lombardo and the Earth were aligned at this point. And they just hadn't heard of it. So it's the actual disappearance of Earth is a really interesting overarching storyline. Wonder how the Doctor's going to save it.
Yeah. Assuming it's not just that the Earth is blown up or whatever, it made me wonder, could they have been removed from history, like the time disintegrator in the Daleks' master plan, like can just wipe you out of existence? Or in that, like, there's a Star Trek Prodigy thing where these creatures called the Loom kind of delete you from existence, and everybody's like, I don't remember there being a person there, even though they were there the whole time.
Well, Rory got deleted from existence, like from the light in.
Yes, the light in that Village of the Angels. No, Time of the Angels.
Yeah, Flesh and Stone, I think.
Flesh and Stone.
Yeah, there's Time of the Angels and then Flesh and Stone with it, which is the two-parter. Great two-parter. Another base under siege.
Yeah. It's funny, it took me a second because I'm like, technically that one and this one, the base is under siege by the humans. You know what I mean? Like Alice is just sitting there and they're like surrounding her. Or like in that one that humans were infiltrating the planet and the ship.
The Byzantium. But they're trying to kind of get to the angel at the bottom and they don't realize that it's been deliberately crashed on that. All the statue. Oh, what a moment.
Oh, yes. One of them says Alice Fenley is the only one left alive. What a spooky revelation. That was the moment in this episode I was like, oh, we're doing this shit. Oh, okay.
The blocking in this is so clever because obviously the way that the creature attacks coming from behind her, and only if you get behind her at that degree. So my fun fact with this, they had it on Doctor Who Unleashed. Russell wrote all of their blocking and positions into the script as a clock. So behind Alice is midnight, and where they stand in, there's the circle on the floor, you notice, that Alice is in the very middle of. That is all there and was all in the script. That's actually Russell's inputting that, like, you need to be here, and you need to be at 5 o'clock. This person is at 3 o'clock. This person is at all the different positions, which I thought was a really fun detail.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just goes to show how smart and what a great writer Russell is. I love Russell.
Totally. Now, what do you think about this change or expansion of the powers of the midnight creature? No longer content to just sort of talk with a person's voice, but now they're like whooping ass as well.
I don't know if it's the same creature. I'm not sold that it is the same creature. I think it's like if it is, it's evolved in 500,000 years, but it does have that super strength in Midnight because at the very beginning it rips the pilot.
Oh, that's right.
And tosses them all around.
The ship off, yeah.
And it spins. They go like all over the place. That's where the chairs all get broken. So Sky Silvestri's hiding behind the chair before she starts doing the copycat thing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is like, is it a further evolution of the original monster? Are they part of the same species? Are there multiple creepy, scary monsters that have evolved on this planet?
Oh, God. That is scary.
Yeah,
it could be a Silurian sea devil situation where they're like cousins.
Exactly. That was my... And it makes, like, obviously the first one, it was its really first interaction, like they were covering an area of ground that had never been travelled over in their little shuttle. That gets mentioned in Midnight. So to have the monster like, this monster is different but equally scary, because it didn't do the copycat thing.
Right. It seemed to have like given itself some rules, like it doesn't pass from one to the other unless its host is killed, whereas the midnight creature passed a different way.
True. So I think there's some differences.
Or did it ever pass?
No, I don't think it really did. It mesmerized the Doctor.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't get a clear answer on that because the Doctor was kind of stuck then, so we didn't get the usual, well, this is what's happening exposition.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so spooky. Have the Doctor so paralyzed and have his voice taken away.
So Belinda's trying to get some info on how humans are doing. No one's heard of them. And then she sees the monster behind Alice's back.
They do all approach Alice from very specific, and I know, as I said, it was in the script, but they're very conscious of it even before there's any reveal, which I thought was really clever. And one of my notes here, like the way they all instantly panic and all compassion goes out the window is very nice tie to Midnight. As soon as they're afraid, they just turn on each other.
Yeah, I have to mark Shia down for running such an undisciplined group. Like, I don't know if this is a new unit or if they haven't had a lot of training, but like they should not be falling apart like this. Right. No. Just based off of weird vibes, like they should be a lot more, I don't know, in control of their shit.
And in control of the chain of command, right? Because when Cassio pulls the red code, and he only needs one other person to second.
That's a bad law. That's a very bad law.
Can we do that on your president? Like, imagine if you could do that. That was. But the red code, it felt like there wasn't enough substantiation. Like you'd at least want a third.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this is TV logic, right? They have to ramp up the tension, conflict between characters and stuff. But in real life, if her second in command was behaving this way, she'd be like required to shut it down. She's like, excuse me, this is my op. Like, don't harass my witnesses here.
Yeah.
But she kind of just lets it go.
Yeah, the chain of command is rather fragile. And I wonder, like, maybe they had some politics between them. Like, maybe this has been building over time and he's been losing faith in her as a leader over time, and this is just the straw that broke the camel's back. Because otherwise it's a really, like as you said, it's a really quick point to turn on your commanding officer at that point. Like, that's not what military training teaches.
Yeah, usually a mutiny requires a whole lot of secret planning.
Yes.
And instead of like some Robert's Rules of Order and boom, bingo, bango, we're in. They didn't even vote. They just second that motion.
Which, yeah, that was a bit weak.
So, yeah, Belinda sees the monster a couple of times. Oh, and I had this thought, like, somehow they're making Alice seem both innocent and evil. And I don't know how they're doing it. I thought maybe it was the music.
I'm getting paranoid.
That, like, every time it sits with her, it's like...
But I also think but there's also the way she doesn't tell them what's going on, to like she isn't free and easy with, hey, here's what's up, here's what's happened, I didn't do it, no, and very like protest So it makes you want to go, oh, is she, or is this, oh, she's just faking it to make to scare us all, and she's going to turn and be like, ha 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 ha, evil. Straight
So
afterwards.
I think this is another example of Russell's desire to confuse us and like keep us off balance, because this thing has the power to make it so that people can't talk about it. Right? Like she doesn't even admit that it's behind her and it's killing people until they say it.
Exactly.
It's like once it no longer has to keep that secret. It just gives up the game. But like until that point, Belinda can't even talk about it. She's just like, I thought I saw something, but I didn't. Instead of like, there was a weird wobbly thing behind her that clearly might kill all of us. It reminded me of 73 Yards, where like the people just run away from Ruby, so we never find out what the hell is going on.
That's true. And that's what makes it so brilliantly scary. Like, that's what 73 Yards is my favorite from last season. It's phenomenal.
So good. I would say it's a perception filter, except this thing has no body, no tech. It's all mind shit.
Well, it does have it, because when it gets covered in mercury later, we do see it crawling along.
Oh, that's right.
So it's
and
more,
the doctor like hangs back to look at it.
So I think it's got, like, it's kind of like almost like TARDIS capability, right? So it can make itself as visibly big or small as it needs to be. I mean, there's some physics in there that doesn't make sense, but it is a space monster from a diamond planet, so we'll give them some leeway.
It can be big and small. And apparently it doesn't like to look at itself or something.
Well, it's about it being behind itself, because if it's behind itself, then it will kill itself, right? Like, that's... So what if the thing behind you was you? And the doctor can do, and you can do that with a mirror.
That makes a lot of sense. I thought the doctor was saying, for real, there is a demon behind the demon, but it was just tricking the demon or whatever creature. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. He tricked me.
There you go.
Crafty doctor.
I was the same on the first time. I was like, I was like, oh no, is there something behind that monster? That's even worse? Maybe the one in between is. But then once he did the wall of mercury, it's like, the mirrors. Yeah, makes sense.
So Belinda tries to stop them from circling Alice because it's upsetting her. Cassio the bald guy threatens her, and then Hanno starts to go around. We go back to the well. I noticed some fancy rings on the doctor's hand. I don't remember noticing those before.
I mean, it could just be the fashion.
And then he asks, what was this planet called? Shia says Midnight.
It was, as I said, I guessed it at that point, so I was like, I'm right. Instant disappointment. But she, there was some few little, like, as the doctor's figuring it out and give people at different, who are coming to the realization to get there slowly. And then we got the flashback as well.
Man, that was so jarring. Like, the film quality is so vastly different that it felt weird to me. I don't know why. Like, we've done flashbacks like this plenty on Doctor Who, but maybe it's just because it's been almost 20 years. Like, it's been 16 years or whatever.
Yeah, since that episode, it would be 16, I guess. but it has the, like, that. I agree with you. I think you don't get, it's not as jarring if you're just watching an episode from that series on its own, of its own merits, but when it's put up against such high quality production as they're doing now, but that's no different to, say, like a flashback to, the Tom Baker era from the David Tennant era, which occurs. So I think there's, even more so, like when they were splicing Clara into all the old footage of the old episodes, some of those were a little bit jarring, you really saw the difference in the production quality.
Yeah, trying to stick it's really hard to shitty up a character to fit into old, man, some of those black and white stories, the film quality is rough.
Very.
So
very
trying to
rough.
match them up must have been, that was a valiant effort. So the doc comes back right after Hanno is killed and tossed into those plants.
Mm.
And he's something about, if it was a clock face, you die at midnight.
Yeah, that's because it's all around to each of their positions. And I think that alludes to what it was in the script, and maybe it depends if you think, is it Russell just being too clever, or is it, because it's midnight, the planet's midnight. But I noticed that as they move around, you can kind of see it, but the point where Alice keeps turning and then they all start flinging. That was terrifying.
Cassio keeps running and rolling.
Yes.
He just completely lost his shit.
If something is standing behind, then why don't we get rid of you?
Because if you kill me, it go behind you.
So that should have made him pause and go, well, maybe we should think about this a little more. But instead he starts ordering people to fucking go into the lion's den.
Well, he's not listening. I think he would have just not believed her.
Yeah.
That he's the kind of guy to just be like, yeah, but you would say that if if you were the evil thing, so.
He basically says something to that effect, like, we're engaging the enemy, we'll know for sure. It's almost like they're dunking the witch, They're like, we'll figure it out. If enough of us get killed by this thing, we'll figure out how it works. When the doctor is scared, that's how you know shit is serious. And then he said something that reminded me of the toy maker. He said, it had fun. It played games.
Interesting. I didn't notice that. Is it? Oh, that's an interesting thought. Is it playing games? Is this fun for what? Is this what's fun for the monster, or is it acting out of some kind of primal desperation? I guess we don't really get the monster's motive, do we?
No, it's so inscrutable. It's like the Night's King from Game of Thrones. Like, what's its deal? What does it want? Just tell us what you want.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah.
She says it came out of the well and it was laughing, and now it's behind me.
And
it was laughing.
It's laughing.
So weird.
Yeah.
So Cassio does his thing, gets a bunch of troops killed. Shia tells Alice to turn around, and boom, the dude is dead.
Brutal.
They can't leave with Alice. That's the moral dilemma here. And
even the doctor says so. Usually the doctor's like, We'll figure out a way. I'll get you home. But this time he's like, Alice can't leave the planet, not with this thing behind her.
Yeah.
It's always good when the doctor's genuinely quite scared of something. It makes us more, it really raises the stakes.
So the doctor goes up and hugs Alice, and that's when he hears it whispering.
Yeah.
He says it knows my name.
Yeah, I totally missed it.
I guess that was before the troopers get killed. Let's see. The doc thinks Alice isn't driven mad because she can't hear the words. We talked about that. That's when Doc says there's another bad guy behind the monster, essentially. And he has Shia shoot the mercury lines, and it makes this mirror, which somehow knocks Alice free. That's when we get that weird, like, kind of tremor vibe as she flies forward.
Like a force push, if you've ever played Force Unleashed.
I played one of those games and did some Force. Yeah.
Just reminded me of that.
Knights of the Republic or something.
No, and he threw it, like the throwaway line as he's figuring it out. Well, we should have never unsuited.
We should have never unsuited. Oh, because they're going to have to suit.
To get back.
Like, it's going to take time to put their suits back on to escape.
Yes. I thought they were all good at this point. I thought, yeah, cool. Doctor saved the day. They're all going to they'll get on the transport. They'll go. Doctor and Belle will go back to the TARDIS. Boom. Happy days. Solution. That is not how this plays out.
Yeah, I still got to point out again that it's odd that the doctor decided to stay and hang out and watch it. Like, what are you going to see? Is the thing suddenly corporeal now?
It's covered in mercury, from the mercury that's leaked down from the pipe in the ceiling.
Okay, so it was just invisible. I thought for sure it like comes in and out of our dimension or something. I didn't realize that it was just purely invisible.
We do see it, and we see it in Midnight as well, going across when he's in the front with the pilot and stuff. We do see it for a flash of a second when they open up the blind thing. And it is a similar image. It's like kind of a creature almost on all fours, but with bigger shoulders and a like rounded head. And I definitely saw that image under the mercury. And I just thought we're now going to have, at worst, I thought we'll have a silver monster now chasing them, but it went back to being. So I think you're partially right where it does shift. Like when it's behind something, or behind someone, it almost like shrinks to a teeny tiny size, and it's invisible.
Yeah.
And then kind of bursts out.
Okay.
When someone goes behind it and they get into the zone where it can kill you. That's how I've made sense of it in my head anyway.
So Alice and a couple of them get into the airlock. So it's just the doctor, Belinda, Mo, and Shia. And suddenly there's this weird tremor, shaky vibe thing, and they all fall down. And when they get up, the doctor's like, "Oh, it's in one of us," essentially.
Yes.
He's here.
And Belinda is tripping.
Oh yeah, I think she knows instantly. Like we get it slowly. Oh, I don't think it's behind me. Oh, I don't think it's behind me. I don't think it's behind me from Mo, Shia, and the doctor. But I don't know about you. I absolutely was like, oh, it's behind Belinda instantly from the moment we realized it had made it through with them. It's the obvious the obvious choice. It's that same thing where the doctor is, you need the doctor to be able to get upset and want to save the companion because he promised to get her home.
Yeah. Classic.
Yes.
If it was Sarah Jane, it totally would have happened to her too.
Yeah, exactly.
She was always getting roped into these things.
Yeah, true. Always on the receiving end of it. Poor Sarah Jane. Great character though. So what happens next? It's Shia.
Shia shoots her right at the top of the heart. Apparently it's a thing you can fix easily.
Did you think she was going to die?
Well, the creature thinks she's died.
Well, she has died for a minute and they revive her.
Yeah.
Because he is using a defibrillator type tech to bring her back, right? So it would stop the heart, creature would move, but her heart would be easily restartable from that position. I'm not sure how a bullet to the chest is revivable, but, future medicine.
Yeah.
That's laser, though. They're laser guns, aren't they? So it's not a bullet.
Yeah. 3 millimeters above the superior vena cava of the heart.
Any doctors listening, tell us, is this feasible?
I mean, it basically just sounds like she's nicking an artery. Somehow that's enough to knock her dead, but not permanently.
No.
I assume they have magic medicine from the future.
Which Belinda does comment when they hand her a medical pack to look at Alice's arm earlier in the episode. I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing has come up. I think that came up in the Robot Revolution as well.
Yeah.
Future medical tech.
Oh, and the Stephen Moffat's Boom.
Yes, true. Oh God, that's awful. So my question here is, did you think this was it for Belinda and they were just going to red herring us, especially with Ruby next week?
Oh no, I assumed that Shia or Mo would take the thing and sacrifice themselves, because that's what always happens in Doctor Who, is some brave guest character like jumps in the way of the bullet or whatever. Like, I just, for production reasons, I can't imagine killing someone as amazing as Verada's set to, like, halfway through the season. You know what I mean? Unless it was Russell. A Rory situation where they're brought back from the dead a couple episodes later or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I am always enough scarring that I'm like, oh, sometimes they might actually die. Like the Raven, I didn't believe it with Clara and the Raven, and then, oh, there you go. Nothing can be done. So.
They drew that out, though. They drew that out 2 or 3 more episodes.
It's true. And in the end, she is living between heartbeats, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think my brain refused to accept that for a really long time, and I was just like, I was like, oh yeah, Clara just dies there. But she doesn't.
Now, if somebody shoots off her arm, I assume she doesn't die because, like, her blood's not flowing. She doesn't have to breathe. Like, she's just, right? She's a zombie, isn't she?
I mean, essentially.
Amazing.
I just thought that was a weak ending, but.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But maybe that's my personal dislike of Clara as a character as well.
So they save Belinda. Shia runs to the well. Oh, she gives that beautiful flashback speech as she's running.
Serving Officer Shia Castalian Squadron 775. I ran as a child. I ran from the wildlands. I ran from those monsters and never looked back. and I ran across the galaxy with one aim: to do my duty, to help, to protect, to bring hope.
It conjured an image for me of Lorna Bucket. So in The Good Man, When a Good Man Goes to War, when she ran with the doctor.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
I met you once in the Gamma Forest. You don't remember me.
Hey, of course I remember. I remember everyone. Hey, we ran. You and me. Didn't we run, Lorna? Who was she?
I felt so bad for her. Like, I totally got what she was doing. I thought it was smart. She's sacrificing herself like the steward in Midnight. That was a nice full circle.
I was going to ask, did that feel too samey to you? Like, to end it in more or less the same way? Or is that the only way you can defeat this creature?
That was my take. That's
them.
the way someone has to kind of take themselves down with it. Because the steward and Sky Stilvestri were, gone. So you have to kind of perform the ultimate sacrifice and die to kill the monster. That makes sense for this monster to me. I didn't feel like it was too samey. I felt like there was enough of a difference that there was if it had been the same copycat back and forth with the voice stuff and then ended in the same way, maybe. But I think there was enough of a difference with this monster. Yeah.
Yeah. And just in terms of staging, like, there was no running happening in Midnight. There was no jumping into a giant well.
Yeah, well, they hadn't, they've got more budget. That's why they did that whole episode the way they did it of Midnight. I think they were running short on budget as well with certain bits.
Ah, interesting.
But
Belinda says they've never heard of the Earth. How can the Earth not exist?
They said the Earth is broken at the beginning of the episode as well, so it really does kick us off on this idea that the Earth's not there, and then, like, really nicely kind of bookends it by going back there at the end again to go, just a reminder, something's really wrong with the Earth.
Yeah. So the epilogue here, Trooper 3, Mo, is back on the ship. She's given the rundown to her superior. And we see Mrs. Flood in a space outfit. And she's like, was the doctor carrying this? And we get a picture of the Vindicator from Lux from last week's episode. And she's like, just what I need to know, as I predicted. A Vindicator in action.
This is why I think she's not a bad guy. I reckon she's just keeping an eye on the doctor and making sure keeping an eye to make sure he's getting where he needs to be.
But that's to his death, right? She says it at one point, like, he's going to die on the 24th.
Did he? I thought she just said the show ends, and I took that to mean Earth ending. Because at the end of Lux, she says the show ends May 24th.
I thought she was talking about him. Interesting.
Yeah, I interpreted that as Earth.
Wow. Holy shit.
This is great. I love that we've got completely opposing theories. This tells me this is good writing.
Yeah. So it looks like Mo might have the creature on her.
I hated that.
Do you think she'd blow up the ship? Or would the creature let her? Like, because clearly the creature let Shia jump into the well.
Was the creature ever on Shia?
Well, she must have thought it was.
Well, she thought it was. That's why she was shooting Belinda, right? To make the creature go to her. But did she actually stop and think, did it come to me, or did it, realizing what she was about to do, jump to Mo instead? Because it was very open-ended as to whether or not Mo actually had the creature or whether the other lady was just being paranoid. I thought it was still quite open-ended, but maybe that's because I'm annoyed that if the creature made it off, then the sacrifice was for nothing.
Yes. It is a very horror movie ending. Kind of like, I was going to say Get Out, but now that I realize it, I don't remember how that one ends. But a lot of horror movies end with like a hand coming out of the earth or whatever. Like, there's still monsters out there. Like maybe there's two midnight monsters. You know, one of them was just lurking in the shadows while the other one did its sinful business.
Well, this feeds to my theory that it's not the exact same monster as well, but rather part of a species.
Yeah.
And if there were multiple ones, then it makes sense that the doctor could take out one, or Shia could take out one, but there's a second one we didn't realize. The creature behind the creature.
Now, if they are a real species with their own ecology and everything and reproduction and all that, it stands to reason that some of them might not be evil, right? The Daleks are all evil because they were like designed that way. Whereas just
mutated.
a naturally propagating species, you would hope that. So like what my point is, if one jumped onto Mo, maybe it's not the Deathbringer like that other one.
Maybe. Do you think maybe it'll come back? I just feel like they wouldn't have put that coda on the end there if that creature wasn't going to come back in some way. Kind of like, but then I suppose Jenny regenerates at the end of The Doctor's Daughter. We never see her again.
The suits are like, we never want to see her again. Never Jenny.
Unless Mrs. Flood is Jenny.
I can see wanting to keep this character in reserve now that we've seen it work so well a second time. It would make sense to maybe have it be out there. Like maybe it's on a new planet this time, or it's created a whole planet of itself or whatever.
Well, it as you said, it does have, this whole episode does have very alien vibes.
Yeah.
And they've got no problem bringing that back again and again and again. I did also think that Belinda nearly dying was very similar to Ruby in Boom. There was a lot of similarities with the Boom mess, I thought.
Yeah.
Because I thought Ruby was going to die then too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like,
so
they're
early
killing
in
her
the
off.
season to die.
This is my mistrust of Russell.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. So the only note I have left is how much work did Mrs. Flood do to be in position for this job? How could she possibly prepare for something like this? Like, there's no way all this stuff was like recorded in logs or anything, right? I mean, maybe. But regardless, she needs a time machine to do all this.
Or a vortex manipulator.
Does she have a Google alert for like doctor level monster attacks? So that's how she knew it came to this time period.
But if she's a time traveler, maybe she knows, like, Time Lords know this stuff, right? Like, that speech that Christopher Eccleston gives in Rose where they're falling through time and space and Time Lords can see all of time at once. That's how, you can tell Jack's a fixed point. That's a recurring trope about the Time Lords, is their ability. So I think it adds to the theory that Mrs. Flood is a Time Lord of some kind.
Oh my God. If she was Romana, I would be ecstatic. Romana was my favorite classic Who companion, because she was a young college student that interned with the Doctor for a little while and became so competent that she got to go out on her own and do her own time travel shenanigans. In the books and the audios, she comes back to Gallifrey eventually and becomes president.
She can't do a worse job than Rastalon.
No, I don't think she ever gets that bad, but she does she's kind of brutal at one point. But I don't know if she's significant enough, because I feel like Russell's ginger with what he brings from the old series into the new series. He brought Davros, but Davros is in a ton of stuff, and I don't think Romana ever comes back.
I think he's been very gentle with it, yeah. And then that was a conscious choice, I think, because he wants the show to be we want, the little nods, but he doesn't want it to be all fanboy, fangirl service either. It needs to be able to be enjoyed without doing homework, which is a lesson Marvel could learn. But it's...
Yeah. I think, they have to be so iconic that the fans will all be, yay! And the modern person will be like, that's not too hard to understand. Another Time Lord, like the Master, somehow survived the Time War. Because that's another thing we have to think about, right? The Doctor hasn't gone back to see Susan. He never talks about other Time Lords. So presumably Romana would have been killed by the Master, or been time locked somewhere, or eaten by House in the Doctor's wife.
House, like the Corsair, but then the Time Lord is less the Time War is less relevant, because that particular destruction of Gallifrey got resolved in the 50th, putting it in the Pocket Universe, and then it comes back. And
they could always say that Romana went back to E-space during the Time War, or that she found another pocket universe. They can come up with any bullshit they want. But I could see her being Mrs. Flood because, at one point, Mrs. Flood even wears her outfit, the big white floofy thing.
Which she wears Clara's outfit as well. The knitted top with the pearls, and it'd be very Russell to try and tease us all that Susan Twist was Susan, because of all the whole, is it Susan or the Rani is the ongoing theory online forever.
Yeah.
To kind of go, ha 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 ha, we tricked you there. It wasn't Susan, but actually this is Susan. That feels cheeky enough.
The one thing that wouldn't make sense for me is I can't think of a good reason why Romana or Clara or, I don't know. I can see why the Rani wouldn't want to be seen by him, but the others, I don't think they would care. Who'd you say?
Unless,
Jenny, the Doctor's daughter. Why would she hide from her dad?
Because she knows that she needs to be part of events. It's like when Jack goes and wants to go and visit in on Rose and things like that, or even Rose says to the Doctor in the first episode, you could have gone back and warned... Oh, no, Martha, sorry. You could have gone back and warned me not to go into work that day when you saw me on the street. And it's no, once I'm part of events, I'm a Time Lord. Once we're part of events. So maybe if Mrs. Flood is a Time Lord, she needs to be kind of monitoring from afar at this point, because when she does the reveal, it's necessary for the Doctor to kind of go the long way around and learn the lessons that are going to lead to him doing what he needs to do to save the Earth. And so...
So that would suggest that whoever this is has information from a future point.
Mm-hmm.
Say maybe they got it from the Matrix, the eternal repository of all time Lord memories, or went into the future past May 24th. But why the Doctor never heard about it and this other
because
person
it's part of
would.
the Doctor's own timeline. That's where they're a little bit more exclusive. Like, they don't get those same revelations about what's a fixed point, and what is a point in flux. Because there's definitely, I'm sure there was something where the Doctor said, well, I can't see it when it's a part of my own timeline.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I would throw a party if it was Romana. That's my new guess. Oh,
I like
man.
it. I mean, it's different. I'm going to hold you to that.
I'm still convinced that she's some sort of god of television or storytelling or something, but it'll be fun to find out.
It's going to be great fun to find out. I'm enjoying the mystery. We won't, once we find out, then we'll know, and we'll never be able to enjoy these episodes on the same level again. The speculation.
That's right. So both you and I have already seen the next episode.
Yes.
So let's refrain from talking about that. But any other predictions that don't relate to that episode or theories?
I'm very consumed with who Mrs. Flood is at the moment. It's I'm not sure whatever it is that's just obviously something's destroyed the Earth. We saw that at the end of the Robot Revolution. And it was certainly keep referencing back to it. Never heard of Earth. That, they keep bouncing off that time period. And that makes a lot more, like, it kind of covers the plot hole. If the Earth has been destroyed at that point, it does cover the plot hole. Why doesn't the Doctor just take Belinda to the next day and she calls in sick for the day before?
Right, yeah.
Which I like. I like that. I like that that's part of the mystery. I wonder if the bi-generation has something to do with it. Also, where is David Tennant's Doctor at this point? Surely.
I guess he got blowed up because was hanging out with the nobles.
Yeah.
Got blown up with all of them.
True.
Although they did mention bi-generation in Lux, so maybe it'll come back again somewhere.
What if there's two masters running around?
Oh, shit. Oh, God.
And it was Missy picking up the gold tooth. Like another, well, not Missy, but like a female master who happens to be maybe even Mrs. Flood, picking up the gold tooth, which was the result of their own bi-generation. So we don't see which master is in the Toymaker's gold tooth either. And we don't know who picked it up. Was it Kate? Was it Mrs. Flood? Was it, who wasn't even there, but was it Susan Twist? Who was it?
Wow. All right. Any other notes, things we forgot to mention?
No, I just thought it was a very clever structure with the clock thing. It was a fun little fact to find out. I think I've covered everything on with my initial impression page.
We mentioned a ton of great Doctor Who episodes this time. Y'all should go watch Doctor's Daughter, Good Man Goes to War, the Satan Pit, Rebel Flesh, Flesh and Stone,
Waters of Mars,
Turn Left. Yeah.
To be expected when when they're doing such a hefty like sequel episode.
Yeah. Oh, listener, I'd love to hear from you. What are the most scary Doctor Who episodes, the horror ones? We mentioned The Unquiet Dead, 73 Yards, Blink, Midnight.
There's some good ones out there.
There is a scene from Fury from the Deep, which is fucking horrifying. It's these two, like, what do you call them? I don't know, mechanical worker guys, like handymen. And they come into this lady's living room and they like leer all creepily. And it's animated because the episodes went away, but because they taped over them or whatever. But these guys, like, like that was a scary moment. Oh, I guess the Daleks in Power of the Daleks, where they go, "I am your servant." That was pretty scary, but it's not the whole episode. There, I can't think of too many that are just like horror, start to finish.
Tooth and Claw, maybe.
It's just so silly in points, though.
Yeah.
Oh, Family of Blood. That whole segment where they're like being menaced by the scarecrows and the little kids are shooting guns.
Oh, that's horrific. And I think the best ones that get scary, and it's very true of this episode as well, is often the scariest thing is humanity.
Yeah. That's the Twilight Zone principle, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's true in, Family of Blood, where they're teaching little boys to shoot and knowing that they're on the doorstep of World War One.
Sort of an existential scare.
And I think this and Midnight does it really well too, because it's actually the thing that's even scarier than the monsters is the human reaction to another human and the speed in which they will turn on each other.
Oh.
Yeah, like this is a note I've got here. It says, it's what it turns us into that's scary.
I'm looking up this Twilight Zone episode where the aliens take over the town.
Mm.
Does this ring a bell? The monsters are due on Maple Street, where they like short out all the electronics and then like every once in a while turn things on, and it just causes people to turn on each other and go nuts.
Yeah. That's, this is actually like another one that kind of gives me that, the Hunger Games. Which this episode brought to mind particularly because of the clock factor, right? In the second Hunger Games,
yeah. And then it ends with the mutations, which, it's so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, like, that whole series. I've just downloaded the new book. I'm excited.
Oh, they're covering it over on Unspoiled, and I've been listening. I'm thinking about getting it because it's the more they talk about it, the more I'm like, ooh, yeah, this actually sounds like I might enjoy it.
Did you read The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes?
No.
It's
I just
really good.
To coverage of it. I just fucking Snow. I can't spend all that time in Snow's head. Ugh.
You really get I think they in the book more so because of it. You really get an insight into, like, you build empathy for this character that you've spent 3 books hating. 3 books and 4 movies hating. So it was very confronting to read, but I like that. I like being challenged, especially by young adult fiction. I think this is good messaging.
Absolutely.
With everything we're facing. Everybody kind of starts out, yes. They could start as a nice, popular, these kind of like cult leaders and fascist dictators often have these stories of like, he was just a cool dude when he was young, blah, blah, real chill. no one expected this. And very likable. You know, you don't get into power like that unless you've got a certain amount of charm and likability.
Oh, it's hard to imagine Adolf Hitler being charming, but he must have had something.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, can you imagine being charmed by Donald Trump? He's always been a loathsome little toad to me, but I guess people buy his shtick, you know?
I enjoy, before I realized what a threat he was, like, I loved The Apprentice.
I always felt dirty watching it. My ex-wife loved it, and so I would watch it. But a lot of times I'd be like, didn't he call Rosie O'Donnell a pig? Like, isn't this a bad person we're celebrating here? Like,
it made me uncomfortable, but yeah, we did. And him on, he was the face when he appeared in wrestling, like the whole hair versus hair match that he had. I think it was in Margaret and Bobby Lashley. And he was the face against Vince McMahon's heel.
Weird.
So it's the ones you never expected. But anyway, it's just another day of what's the latest craziness that guy's going to launch on us.
Yeah, I was just telling Jessie before we started that my union was able to get a good outcome out of arbitration right at the same time as he's trying to take away collective bargaining for all federal employees. Yeah, all kinds of bad things they're trying to do over here. Hopefully somebody will stop them. Hopefully I'll get to keep podcasting and not end up in a camp somewhere.
Oh, God. I can't even, like, there's a point in life where I would have been like, surely not, blah, 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 but...
Listener, if you're full of hope and optimism, check in Great and Secret Knowledge at Great and Secret Knowledge at gmail.com and tell us your thoughts. Share your favorite episodes. Maybe we'll cover one down the road. Yeah. And tell all your friends about us. Jessie, how do people find you on the internet?
Yeah, at Cosmic Cowgirl on all the socials. Cosmic starting with a K, the rest are all C's.
All right. You can find me everywhere at El Jefe Tacoma and listen to my other shows, Shattered Worlds RPG and Everything is Awesome. I'm trying to get an interview for that show. I bring that back ever so often. So check that out. And watch my Twitch show every other Sunday at 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time. That's on twitch.tv/Omniversal Escapades. All those episodes are archived over on YouTube on our Omniversal Escapades page. So I think that's everything. Yes, spread the word. Tell everybody about us. And if there's something you'd like us to cover, let us know. If you can think of a guest that's an expert in Doctor Who or Star Trek or anything else, let us know that as well. Thank you, Jessie.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. And I'll see you very, very soon to talk about... What's this next one called?
Something Sunday.
Lucky Day. Like
Lucky Day.
Steve Martin's character in Three Amigos.
Huh, there you go. Which kind of fits.
Or is Lucky Day... Oh, shit. Is Lucky Day Chevy Chase? Shit.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll watch Three Amigos and check back in with you all. We'll see you next time. Yeah, it's Steve Martin's character. I was right. Chevy Chase is Dusty Bottoms.
Dusty Bottoms. There is a drag queen called Dusty Ray Bottoms.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well.
He's here.
huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
We've got a. She loves a floor human. You want to be on the podcast, Annette? And down you get. Yeah.
So cute.
She is very cute. She is very demanding of my attention, but you've been so good previously, Zen. Stop.